from aunt to nephew, grandmother to grandson, mother to son, no longer exists. It took me 10 years to return to India after earning enough money for a ticket, the camera, and 20 hours of tape. I imagine the drive has been erased, leaving no traces of the stories my family told to explain who we are. Its new owners, faced with a void like the myth of the pioneer's empty West, will do what they must. They will populate it. They will construct an archive of their own. Erasing a drive only destroys the surface index, not the binary code that marks the instances of magnetic repulsion and attraction that lie beneath. Behind the veil of its emptiness, a small town in India still remains. The past is written over with new ones and zeros. An entry in the index is created so they can be found again. This new data is stored randomly, and all around it are dispossessed strings of numbers that have no entry, have no name to be called by anymore. When I had stored them, they were light and shade on a dirt road, or the colors of buildings baked by heat. By now, most of those strings will be gone. They have been replaced by the traces of someone I will never know, who bought them for a price that will always be too low. The few that are left are small, part of a face, a sliver of sky, a woman's laugh. If we could ever see them, they would haunt us like the fragments of ancient poems that can never be fully reconstructed. A word, perhaps two, fills us with horror. We turn away from a tear in the fabric. We imagine the rest of the poem. We dream of the sky that is missing. The winter my sister called to tell me what happened. I thought of your hair. In my notebooks, Radhika, I drew your ribbons in orange surrounded by black hair, knowing you were upset by suitors who refused you. My mother and father have left for business. The day grows frightful. Am I ugly, unlovable? Why does no one want me? No one will. I'm in the blue hall with these pesticides, with this rat poison. This one is my groom, my love. After the first monsoon rain, Ganesh stops drinking water. This time, unlike before, he suffers from kidney failure. Mr. Nagi is unable to take care of him, so Ganesh leaves Rishikesh to stay with his mother in Lucknow. I realize now that the first time I called, she was the woman who had answered. For her, Ganesh never renounced the material world, which included her and the rest of his family. He was still her Rajkumar. How upset was she when he returned with the uncut facial hair of a sadhu, wrapped in an orange loincloth, suffering from kidney failure? When Ganesh first told me that he survived on a glass of milk each day and existed only on air during the monsoon, I found it hard to believe him. It defied logic. How could he survive? Through research, I discovered that yogis were known to practice extreme forms of physical denial. Some, who abstained from food and water, claimed to live off of only prana, or sustenance through light. Like many stories of the past, I expect these to be exaggerations. But after Ganesh's kidneys fail, I begin to question my doubts. This is logical. A person who gives up drinking water would suffer from kidney failure. When Ganesh asked me to follow him around with a video camera so he could prove to the rest of the world that he didn't drink water or eat food, I knew there would always be gaps. Batteries die, the tape ends, machines break. From the blank spaces, the moments lost in the record, doubts would rise in the minds of people he was trying to convince. Completely automated surveillance systems, like those used in malls, are able to provide a complete record of what is being watched. With a portable version of such a system, I could conceivably follow him, But who would watch me to ensure that I never averted my gaze, letting Ganesh sneak some food? Another person would have to videotape me as I documented Ganesh. And then another person would have to watch that person, and so on, until all of us were caught in the circular ruins of our eyes.